bar that Zoom says that we're not live, but I have this lingering feeling that I am currently live. So that's why I'm talking and not leaving it to chance.
Yeah,
okay.
probably.
I think we're live, friends. Friends. Wait, I want to double check and look at the chat. Oh, yes, we are live. Great. Doing this. Welcome back to Attack the Pantry. I am Jenn de la Vega. This stream is a deep dive into ingredients, cooking techniques, and recipes to help you cook for yourself during quarantine and, you know, the rest of your adult life. Last time on the stream, we talked to Jessica Joan Causing about vegan baking. So you can watch all of the past clips here on my channel if you click on videos, and the entire archive is located at youtube.com/JENNDLV. And I'm gonna put that link in the chat right now for you. Wonderful. Great news, I'm a Twitch affiliate now. If you have Amazon Prime, you can gift a subscription to your favorite creators every month. So if you have one, click on the purple button below the video here that says gift a sub, and you'll get a little crown next to your name in the chat. Lots of really great links below the video to help us out and get people into our lovely Twitch food community, and let people know that you're here in the chat, and maybe they'll learn something. Big news before we get started, we got brand new eggy emotes in the chat, so let's get some eggs in the chat whenever you get in here. You can also unlock new eggs with faces on them for cheering with your little bits there in the chat too. All of the graphics were by my friend Rachel Viola, who goes by the name Drip, and I will put her channel here in the chat too. Twitch.tv. Okay, that's her channel, and she streams every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe, but you can follow her and double check that time. But that brings me to what's happening today. I have another guest. Hello, who are you?
Hi, my name is Nick Brewer, and I'm the guest.
Where do you live, Nick Brewer?
I live in Austin, Texas.
Oh my gosh. That's why it's so sunny and lovely behind you and dreary behind me.
Yeah, very much so. It's gonna snow this week. And
wait, it's gonna snow in Texas?
Mm-hmm. It does occasionally.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I thought I was done with it, but nope.
We're also not quite done with the snow here in New York as well.
No.
This is probably the most snow I've seen in about a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I remember the blizzard.
Yes, the blizzard.
Plural.
You were here for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
But how do we know each other?
So I love how we know each other because I believe we have a photograph of it that I should have pulled up before mentioning.
Oh, damn.
But we met here in Austin at South by Southwest.
Yes.
2007.
2007? Was it really 2007?
2007.
Oh my God.
Waiting for a Matt and Kim show to start.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I was there was not necessarily Matt and Kim, but a band I was working with called Shout Out 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 was opening for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were in the front, like the very, very front, with
Isaac Paris.
That's right.
Who was my coworker. I was at my college radio station at the time. And he and I went to South by, and it was a crazy week. Like, I had never heard that much music in one place.
I know. Yeah, and you had come from Alaska.
Yep. So I grew up in North Pole, Alaska. So I'm quite literally Nick from the North Pole. My sisters are Heather and Holly.
So cute.
I wish were a bit, but it's not. It's just life. And and went to the University of Alaska Fairbanks and got really into KSUA, which is our college radio station up there. So at some point in time, I'm sure you called our station.
Yeah.
And I was the music manager at the time. I was most likely hiding under my desk because so many people, all those, reps would call us all the time, but because we were so far behind the East Coast, we were 4 hours behind. They're at the end of their day just wanting to get done, and we were just getting in the office for work. And the music director I replaced, she disappeared. Just one day, was no longer there. She had been living in her office and just married this guy on the radio on a whim. Yeah, and just up, and nobody knew where she went. And so I got the job, but I didn't have any, like my first day, I had to report all these, you know, things we were putting on our playlist.
Oh,
and
you had no idea what was going on.
I had no idea what was going on. And so all I had was the last thing that she had done in December. So like 2 or 3 months earlier. So I just put all that stuff on my playlist. Like, all right, here's the only thing that's ready to go. And I got all these reps called me up and I got screamed at, like, how dare you debut my album 6 weeks after it like hit. And they're just like, nobody cares about these bands anymore. You should be onto this other stuff. And it was, I think I was a better general manager.
Yeah, I didn't subscribe to that style of marketing, which is kind of why we are friends, right? Yep. Because I never called. Okay, so everybody in the chat, I used to work in the music industry at a marketing agency, and we sent music to radio stations, and my specialty was college radio and electronic music specifically. And so my job was to send music and then ask people if they got it and what they thought of it. And that's kind of it. Other people have different tactics for padding the report or like getting you to say something so that they can put it and report back to a client. But I was very genuinely interested in the music and the people that were playing the music, because the better I know you, the better music I can send to you and make sure that it gets played. Because
it wasn't hard to read these radio stations. Like college stations are just like, give us stuff, we'll play anything. And then these people call up and be like, how dare you play LCD Sound System from 3 weeks ago? It's like,
I know. What a good time in our lives. But now we are adult friends who have other interests. Oh my gosh, we got raided. Do you know what that is?
Vaguely.
So when another stream ends, you have the option of bringing people to another stream that's going on. So Alex, thanks for bringing 11 folks into the chat. Wow, thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Tony, Toria, Gwen. Wow, everybody.
Anybody in the raid want to talk about college radio music from 2003 to 2007-ish? Like anything right in there? MIA hit.
The big announcement, my friends, is that we have new emotes in my chat. So you can unlock different egg emotes, and I'll share some of them here. And then you can also do ones that have faces on them if you cheer with some bitses later on. From one egg to another egg. Alex was streaming earlier with Animal Crossing, and we have this sort of unofficial Wednesday lineup on Twitch. Starts with our friend Gwen, who does like music composition. Today it was a really fun rave track. And then Alex was chill vibes with some Animal Crossing. And then we're here getting real nerdy about music industry stuff in the US.
Eggs and food.
So we were just briefly introducing my guest, Nick, who is out in Texas. Got a shout out here from Robert to fellow college radio GMs. Yes.
We don't get enough praise.
I was a music director, so I wasn't quite a GM.
Only GM, only station managers are going to get this.
But I lived with my GM here in New York. We moved here together, so very, very much music industry house. It was really fun. So we just got started, and one of the really fun things we do at the beginning of the show is look at what people cooked this week. So if you would like to be featured on next week's stream, feel free to send me your cooking photos via Twitter, Instagram, or DM me or email me. My email is randwitches@gmail.com, but I'll just put my Instagram here so that you can follow and send me your cooking photos, because we love to cheer you on and maybe help you if you had a little bit of trouble with a dish, or if you want to spice things up. That's kind of what we're here for. So I'm gonna share my screen. This is always harrowing. But look at our beautiful graphic here. got a few entries today. Let's start with Alex. Wait, how do I do this? Jenn, what's going on? Jenn. Sorry, hold on. Everything is too much. I want to be able to view this.
Hit the space bar.
Oh, space bar. Hell yeah, there we go. Thank you, Nick. This is my computer updated and I don't like it when that happens. But Alex made some shakshuka. Have you ever made this, Nick?
No, it looks delicious, but
it is also called by many other names, like eggs in hell, or eggs in purgatory. But basically, they're baked eggs in a kind of spicy tomato sauce. And the best thing to do is to dip lots of toast in it. It's very, very dippable.
I may Alex, have had this at some point. It looks very dippable.
Alex, you've been making a lot of really dippable eggy breakfasts, and I salute you. All the bread. It was very emotional, Alex. It was emotional. Wonderful. So what else have we got here? Martin is house sitting in Santa Cruz and spotted this very, very small lemon tree at our friend Robin's house. So that's a really cute lemon tree.
When life gives you very small lemons.
Right. I'm all about it. Lovely little tree. Lemonettes. Yes, thank you, Justin. Lemonettes. And then Robert, who is a fellow radio GM, made these chicken enchiladas in this cast iron. You can see that burnt cheese at the bottom. I am all about that. Yes, it looks so good. The guys here saying my desktop is very clean. It's true. I knew that if I was going to be sharing my screen.
Yeah, you want it to be nice.
I mean, but I was explaining to the last guest that it's all a trick, you know. It's not real. I actually just shoved everything like you would in a closet. It's all in a folder that just says sort here. It's a trick. So let's check out my food. What's going on with my food? I'm working on a series of recipes this week. I pitched this really great article that I hope comes out next month. I'm trying to do all pasta recipes using Laogan Ma chili crisp. Have you ever had the chili crisp, Nick?
I recently heard about it. It might have been from you. There's like a 70% chance I saw you mention it, and now I'm thinking that I thought of it, but I didn't.
Yeah, so Laogan Ma chili crisp is a Chinese condiment, and it's just really good, spicy, savory sauce that you can put on anything. My friend Kate and I actually made a zine about it. It's called Laogan Magazine.
I'm writing this down.
Oh, okay. I'll share the link later. But I'm pitching a new article where we're trying to do pastas with this chili crisp condiment. And so there's spicy, savory, delicious things. There's also a couple of other brands that I like. It's a little bit more expensive and uses dried mushrooms in the mix, but it's called Fly by Jing, Jing, Fly by Jing. But this is chili crisp pesto pasta finished with some lime zest. And that was my dinner last night, and probably my dinner tonight as well. I had a really big reaction. Do you listen to Reply All, the podcast?
No, I don't.
You know
it's one of those I should, and I know I should.
Same. I actually don't listen regularly, but they're doing a mini series about Bon Appetit magazine. Did you hear about all the drama with Bon Appetit?
No, we're very Team Sola.
Yeah.
I'm Team Sola.
Team Sola all the way. So Reply All is doing a mini series about the controversies and the systemic racism of Bon Appetit magazine. And so I had a really strong reaction to it because I've experienced some of that stuff that they were talking about, especially when it comes to photographing food. And so This is a photo that did not get approved for a cookbook I was working on, but it was the first time that my hands, like people asked me to put my hands into the photo. If you ever work at a food publication, the kitchen is usually near the writers, and sometimes when we need to do a group photo, someone will yell hands. And so everybody will drop what they're doing, put their hand on the photo, grab a piece of food, and they'll take the shot. But there's a story of a writer named Yewende who was never asked to do the hands because she was Black. So it was really jarring for me to hear that story. And I look at this photo every day and I'm like, those are my damn brown hands.
That's great.
Yeah. That episode is incredible. If y'all haven't heard it yet, please.
No, I'll definitely check it.
This is an archive photo from catering weddings. I sort of miss doing that. These are my old roommates, Dylan and Jeff, and you'll see a lot of the photos that I share of theirs as they're cooking. They didn't send me anything this week, but they're my dudes, and I would trick them into catering weddings with me. I'd be like, are you free? But they were great. And this is an awesome crew photo that we took one time. It's very funny that I'm the catering boss, and these two tallies are taking orders from me in the kitchen. It's very, very fun, but I miss them very much. My dudes. I made a huge discovery about my mandolin.
When I saw you tweet about this, I was like, mandolin? I thought it was a little guitar. You were like, I found a new little guitar.
This is mandolin with an E at the end.
Yeah, no,
mandolin. It is a tool used for slicing vegetables and fruits and other things very thinly. And so usually it has a straight blade here. You can see this one is waffly. So I discovered a new attachment because I didn't realize that my mandolin unfolded. And so there's this white V on the top here, and that's where you put the blades for making French fries. And so you can just run a potato over it and it will slice French fries. But I didn't know that you could move the second blade down here. And so I discovered I could make waffle fries or waffle chips. Did not know this. This is
the blades at different angles.
Yeah. So what you do is you swipe the potato down once, turn it 90 degrees on the wavy cutter, and then it will create this waffle pattern. I love it. New discoveries. I've had this mandolin for like a decade, and I feel like such an idiot that I didn't read the instructions. I mean, I don't read the instructions.
A decade in, why would you read the instructions?
It does the job of cutting things, so why would I? And then I can't believe that it's been here this whole time, and I could have had waffle fries more often. What the hell? But yeah, new discovery. What else is happening? I've been playing Hades a lot.
Oh yeah.
Last night. I was gonna tweet this at 4 a.m., but I was like, no, I'm crazy. I need to go to bed. But I got a
little visitor
true
from
companionship with Meg is what I'll say. That's the nice way to say it.
That's a very kind way to say it, yeah.
Woo! I ship them so much.
The thing I love about Hades is that Zag has the best boundaries of any main character I've ever played.
Oh my God, I know.
He says, oh, I'm sorry you didn't I didn't understand that, or is that okay with you? Like there was definitely a point where
I love the way he talks to people. Yeah. Like I'm at the part where he's having a conversation with Achilles about why he died and stuff, and I was like, he's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore, and he's like, okay.
Yeah, he's just cool with he's asking questions or pushing boundaries a little bit, but whenever anyone pushes back on him a little bit, he's just like, totally get it, because you always have another round to go. Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm still a far way off from actually beating Hades himself, but I don't mind. I love it. I really like it.
No, it's great. I recently stopped. It took me 130 runs.
I'm so close to that, actually. I'm very close to that. Wow.
So I picked up Breath of the Wild now.
Oh, I've been putting off the main storyline in Breath of the Wild. So as soon as maybe I beat Hades, I'll do that. This is a throwback to a nacho waffle that I made for a pop-up. Like this is so it's like a buttermilk waffle with queso and black beans and sour cream and crumbled chips. So I miss making this sort of thing for people.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Thank you. It's very fun. And a really cute thing happened on Monday. So you and Shayna were the ones that sent me my first like legit skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
No.
I keep tagging you every time I use it in videos.
I know. I feel like a skateboard sponsor. I'm like,
you are.
Little stickers.
You are my skateboard sponsor. But I now have an official second sponsor.
Yeah.
So I produced a fundraiser in December for the nonprofit that I work for, which is Death by Audio Arcade. And they also have a bar called Wonderville. And as thanks, they surprised me with like the only custom skateboard, Wonderville skateboard. Like the original designer of the Wonderville logo, Chris Hernandez, like made me a skateboard, and the whole board, like everybody pitched in and got me a skateboard. I was very surprised. It's really cute. I don't know if I would outright get a pink one, but it is really cute. And there's me like telling everybody, shut up. Like if you watch the video on Twitter, I'm just going, shut up. Are you serious? Shut up. Like the whole time. It was very fun.
That's great.
That's what I've been up to this week. If anyone else, if you're in the chat and you've been cooking this week, please send photos along to me. I would love to feature you here on the stream. Nick, let's look at what you brought to the table here.
So this is my eggy dippy thing.
I love an eggy dippy thing. Okay, in the chat, what do you call this dish? Because we have so many names for it. What do you call it, Nick?
We call it Nick Toast.
You call it Nick Toast. I like that. I
looked it up on, I think I saw it in Shaun of the Dead was the first time I became aware of it. And it's just like a one-shot thing. There's just an insert shot of a pan with toast with a hole in it and an egg in the middle. And I was like, genius. Yeah. I want to make that.
It's so easy, right? It's so easy. Yeah. In the chat, Alex says, I call it filth. Yep. Eggs in a vest from Chicken Handbag. Yeah, egg in a hole from Gwem. Rising Sun Toast, Toria. I've never heard that. That is so poetic. But we get a lot of names for this. Toad in the hole, egg in a basket.
V for Vendetta. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, gotta rewatch V for Vendetta. Do you use butter or oil when you fry these up?
Butter.
Nice. Yeah. And do you remember what kind of bread it is?
That is from the very beginning of the pandemic when I did sourdough for like 2 weeks.
You were making sourdough?
I was making sourdough, but I ran into a very difficult problem very quickly, which is Shayna, my wife, has to eat gluten-free.
Oh.
And so I ended up with like 3 loaves in like 4 days. How much bread do I go through in a day? I was like eating toast for every meal.
Oh.
And so I kind of give up as the fad also declined, but I was like, I just don't have anybody else to eat it. And then there was no fun in like, oh, here's a thing that, I
for
enjoy
myself.
It, but it wasn't worth it. And there are a lot of great bakeries around here that I've kind of taken to whenever I need to buy something and I know it's going to be a little expensive, I always justify it with, well, it's a pandemic and at least I can help Easy Tiger out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm getting overcharged, at least I hope I'm getting overcharged by people who could use it.
What kind of jammy jam you got here?
That is my favorite part. It is sour cherry jam. They sell it here. We buy them 2 or 3 at a time now.
Wow.
Got an English muffin. That's butter and sourdough bread and sour cherry jam.
My mouth is watering. And what kind of sausage is this?
Those are probably just breakfast sausages.
Cool. Yeah, what a lovely breakfast.
Was the weakest part of that meal.
We got some advice here. Egg in a hole is great with avocado, says Gwem.
I have done that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah, Jules also says toad in a hole. Another vote for toad in a hole. Justice says Stephen Fry toast.
I've never done a croque madame, but I've definitely heard of it.
Oh yes, I've definitely made a croque madame and actually shared a recipe through the podcast that I'm on, Fun City. It's actually a plot point. We have another character making us sandwiches, and it's such a big deal because real food in the future in 2101 doesn't really exist. So eggs are super expensive. Everybody eats soy. But yeah, croque madames, delicious. And you know they're named so because French women have those big hats that look like an egg. That's what it's named after.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What's happening here?
Those are Fruity Pebble treats.
Wait, like a Rice Krispie treat?
But just Fruity Pebbles.
The same proportion, like the same Rice Krispie recipe. I have it memorized. It's 3 tablespoons butter, 40 marshmallows on low heat, melted, and then it's about 6 cups of Rice Krispie. See, I haven't memorized. Like,
mine was more muscle memory. Pour bag in.
Yeah.
Thud of butter. A thud of butter is a unit of measurement. I use.
Do you like Fruity Pebbles?
Love them.
You love Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, I never ate them as a kid very much. We were for some reason, Chex household. I lived off Chex.
I'm an adult Chex person now. Like, I'm going to get it. I'll be right back. Hold on.
So I'm just going to take this time to talk about why I love Chex. And they're great.
I got blueberry. I didn't know they're gluten-free.
That's why we eat them now is we have vanilla ones in our cupboard.
Yeah, I'm an adult Chex person. I never was allowed those, but I got a lot of Trix when I was younger.
Trix
and
Lucky Charms, Frosted Flakes, yeah. But my personal favorite, I was never a huge Rice Krispie fan, just because
they're so plain.
They're very plain, and I'm a sugar kid, so.
Really, are you?
Right? You'll notice a theme in everything I do.
Yeah,
every single one of these, you'll be like, oh, I get it.
We got a comment here from Justice. I have a suspicious feeling that Nick enjoys colorful things. In the background there.
It's definitely like my wife is an artist, and so like this is all her stuff.
Explain what is happening here.
This I posted right before I moved out of New York. I called it cookie dos es machina.
Meta cookie?
Yeah.
Inception cookie?
It's literally just shoving a Chips Ahoy cookie into cookie butter from Trader Joe's. And I called it a recipe.
Yeah, I'm into it. I mean, it's really funny that Speculoos cookie butter is just ground up cookies with more butter.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're dipping a cookie in it.
And it's like a gingerbread cookie, not even a chocolate chip cookie that you're dipping in.
Cookies all the way down. Yep. Yeah, amazing. I think that would taste great. I love Speculoos.
It wasn't bad. It didn't spread.
Yeah, I mean, because it's very thick stuff.
Yeah. So I think if you thinned it or turned it into sort of a like a drizzly.
Yes. Yeah, you probably could dilute it with some heavy cream.
Yeah, I was thinking just add more butter.
Like a buttercream? Whoa. Yeah. Heart attack.
I go hardcore. Nothing but butter, cookies, more cookies.
What's going on with these tacos?
This was our Thanksgiving dinner like 2 years ago.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it turns out you can take everything from a Thanksgiving dinner and just put it into a taco. So they're corn tortillas with ground turkey, and we use, taco seasoning, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce, some stuffing.
My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that. Hi, Jessica. Our guest from last week is here in the chat. I know. Thanksgiving tacos, damn.
Yeah, that was our, because we, all our family is in Alaska or just scattered all over. And so we've ended up spending basically most of our Thanksgivings just with each other. And we don't need huge turkey.
The full spread, yeah.
And neither of us wants to do that.
So many dishes, yeah.
How can we make it like a smaller thing? And just for 2 people. And this was really, really easy.
I blew my mind. Like, I thought that I had written all there is to write about Thanksgiving, and you have proven me wrong. Wow.
I
so
hope
good.
I want to see people in the chat try to, this Thanksgiving, I want someone randomly to be like, I tried to make the tacos.
Oh my gosh, Thanksgiving. No, you're giving me more ideas. Like, what if we did Thanksgiving taquitos that are like fried, or flautas? Like, I'm a huge fan of flautas. This is a great idea. Hell yeah. Thanksgiving dinner.
It worked. Like, you would think, maybe, no, whole thing worked.
Okay, so here's one topic that you do know a lot about, and it is the Cherry Kuchen.
So
you explain to people what this is?
I was always told it was Kuchen.
Kuchen, sorry.
No. That's just, I don't know. I might be wrong. I mean, I'm an expert in that I've eaten a lot of these. So a cherry Kuchen, which you're only looking at 2/3 of because I couldn't wait to take the picture. I had to eat half of it.
Fair.
Is basically a very spongy cake on the bottom, a layer of pie topping cherries.
Yes.
And then you take some of the leftover batter from the bottom, and you kind of make these little dollop island things, and they get crispy on the top. So you have these crispy bits, like just a bunch of cherries and like a soft, spongy cake. And it's delicious. I've been eating it my entire life.
How did you get introduced to this dish?
My mom made it, and when she finally gave me the recipe, it was from my dad served in the Air Force, and that's what brought us to Alaska. So it's the Eielson Air Force Base, like 1986, like wives cookbook.
Oh my God, I love those collections. They're such relics. They're so interesting.
Yeah, and everyone just came from everywhere else. Oh, I have a little cardinal. Sorry, I have a bird.
You have a bird sighting.
I have a bird friend. It's a cardinal I've named Blue.
Oh, cute.
Every day he just shows up. He's just like, hey.
Super cute.
So the book, it just lived in a drawer my entire life, and whenever birthdays, I'd have this.
Oh, I love that.
Graduation party, like any sort of gathering thing, it was a very easy thing for my mom to throw together. And yeah, it was the recipe. She contributed to it, but I don't believe she made it. Like, I don't think it's not like she tinkered with it and then like submitted it. I think it was just something her mom made and gave it to her at some point. So I've been told it's a German cake.
Yes.
But I know nothing else of it other than putting 2 cans of cherries is the right amount. Putting 3 cans of cherries is too much. Because the bottom doesn't get cooked enough. It's difficult cake only in that you can overcook the bottom very easily or undercook the bottom very easily. If the top bits get crispy enough, then you're like, oh no, I need to stop it. But if the bottom isn't cooked, then you end up kind of a mushy. I mean, I still eat it. It's mostly sugar and flour and cherry.
Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous too. It's so bright, like vibrant. I love it. So the little bit of research that I did is Kuchen is it's a German thing. It's actually an umbrella term for basically cakes, pies, and torts. Okay. They're very simply decorated, not like, you know, the current trend of Instagram cakes where there's lots of icing and decor. They're very humble and simple, like this, like a cake with like a filling on top. And they were popularized in German settlements. So it makes sense that military folks would know what it is. It's actually very popular in Brazil, of all places, because there was a German settlement there. And then it is the state dessert of South Dakota.
That makes sense because I was told the story, and I'm sure it's total junk, of how my family like came to the United States. Basically they were German, Polish, Czech area people that like at the end of the 1800s, early 18th century, 19th century, they early 20th century, they went to Russia as farmers for like a decade, where they had to earn enough money to move to the US as like an immigrant wave. And lots of them ended up in Nebraska, and there are actually huge German settlement communities outside of Austin as well, in Texas.
Wow.
There's literally a Berlin, Texas.
Right.
Kolaches all over the place.
Oh yes, I love kolaches. We have a Brooklyn kolache.
Really?
Yes. It's a bakery in Bed-Stuy. She's from Texas, and it makes really delicious baked goods. They're yeasted dough, I believe, and you wrap it around a sausage and jalapeno. It's so good.
A little bit of cheese.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you all can see our big dumb heads. But let me see here. Do I have any notes anymore? Oh, popular fruit varieties are unique in that the filling is put on top, and then there's little flotillas of the cake batter also. Okay. So lots of American recipes I saw were for bars. Would you say this was served in a bar form?
I had never seen it in a bar form, but whenever I Google it, that's the first thing that come up. Or they tend to have like crumb cake toppings. Like that's what I noticed a lot in the bars, where it looked a little more shortcakey with like a cherry topping and then like a brown sugar crumble thing.
Yeah, I think on Bake Off, this is what they would call like a tray bake. I kind of think of it as a casserole for me. I just have a fork, and I'm just like, me, because who am I serving over here?
Yeah, I have to make them gluten-free as well, and I haven't had a good gluten one in quite some time. There are times I've threatened to make 2 of them, but the problem is I'll just eat mine and hers. So, I mean, she'll get some, but
well, it looks delicious, and I've never made it myself, and so now I have a mission in life.
I can't wait. I can't wait
to and I will make sure that I alert you.
Actually, I did have an ex-coworker make it.
Really?
Yeah, she did a great job. She made a small one. She's like, I'm gonna try it. I'm like, that's acceptable.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's very hard to like totally mess up, because even if you do mess it up, you just have a pool of cherries cooked.
Yeah, just get a bunch of cookies and dip it in there.
Yeah.
And then get some speculoos and dip it in.
There are ways to salvage it.
Yeah, just the spoon. I could just eat it with a spoon. There you go. You also had a question for me before you came onto the show. I'm going to quote you here directly. You said, "I'm white. How do I up my spice game so I don't get mocked quite so hard?"
I deserve the mocking. I'm not like absolving myself of the mocking, because, like I said, my family is very Midwestern. Both my parents are from the same area in Michigan. Their entire family, like I was the outlier, but I had a very Midwestern upbringing in Alaska.
Yeah, I had a really enlightening experience when I first wrote my cookbook, because I did a tour. And so I would go to different grocery stores, sell the book, and also do some samples, like it was Costco, you know. And I remember when I was in certain like Midwestern areas, people would tell me my food was too spicy. And I was like, what? There's no jalapeno in this or pepper. What are you talking about? They mean spices, not.
Yeah. We didn't get a good education on it. And now I've been more open to it, mostly through food YouTube, watching a lot or Babish or whatever. Like, I'm like, oh, like I could do that. But how about this? Let me describe like the 3 basic meals we have almost every day. Please. Is rice cooker. So I'll make rice and then cook a jalapeno cheddar sausage. That's very good.
Yum.
And just that with soy sauce.
Yum.
That's just it. And then kind of spins on that, or what I've been doing lately, like a broccoli shrimp, like a garlic broccoli honey shrimp thing.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's soy sauce, honey, garlic, ginger, and then you marinate the shrimp in that for a little bit. You cook the broccoli, and then you just shove the whole thing together. And I sous vide almost everything.
You do?
I sous vide enough that it almost lives on our counter.
Oh, that's so funny. For people in the chat who don't know what that is, sous vide is a style of vacuum sealing food and cooking it at a fixed temperature. So a lot of like 90s boil in a bag food, like lean cuisine was like that. Not quite the same, but sous vide is a device that will keep a water bath at the same temperature the whole time. So everything is cooked to the right temperature that you want. So I do a lot of sous vide myself. I do a lot of eggs. I don't do a lot of proteins, but eggs are the perfect thing to sous vide because they're already packaged. You don't need to vacuum seal an egg because it's got a shell. Can I get some eggs in the chat? Eggs.
I want to do the fluffy egg thing. I watched like a video or two on, it's like a whipped fluffy egg that you sous vide, and then it looks like a custard almost.
Oh yeah, like Starbucks trying to do that. In it.
And then you tie it in a bag. Yeah, you whip the egg whites, and then you put the yolk in the middle of the egg whites.
Oh, the cloudy egg.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that. A lot of work, I think, for an egg.
Like a lot of work for
I mean, it helps if you have a stand mixer or like an immersion blender, but yeah, it's a lot of whisking. Oh my goodness. Thanks for eggs in the chat. I love seeing these new emotes. Makes me so happy. But I guess to start answering this spice question, what do you already have in your pantry? Like, is there something you're trying to use up a lot of?
No. I mean, I have a lot of the basics. I have a lot of the basics that you would end up with at some point. Basil.
Right, okay.
And no, I mean, it's mostly salt and pepper, or I've started leaning on like if I want to do like a Cajun chicken, there's like a Cajun rub that I'll throw on it. Yeah. And just let that sous vide, or a lemon pepper chicken because they make a lemon pepper seasoning. Yeah, so that's how I've upped it so far, is going, I guess these are enough flavor.
No, that's great. It's a good start. Like you're already in a good place, which is open-mindedness.
Oh yeah.
That's already.
What I don't know could fill a lot of books.
So I can break it down for you. There are different divisions of herbs and spices that there's like different families of things and different pantries. So the main difference here between herbs and spices is that the herbs are mostly plant-based, the leaves, sometimes stems, seeds. So those are all parts of a plant. Well, leafy things, herbs. Then you get into spices, which is more of the seed situation, whole seeds, ground seeds, and berries that are dried. So peppercorn is a berry. Another berry is sumac or allspice. So there are all sorts of, different kinds of spices, but I have them divide. I clean out my pantry and I put it here on the table, and I've divided them into these different categories. So we'll just go through them one by one, and we'll see if you are familiar with them or not. And I'll briefly tell folks in the chat how you would use them.
I'm also taking notes.
Oh, I'm so glad that I'm like legit helping you. Like, this is great. Okay, so starting off with the basic herbs, we have bay leaf. You're familiar with this. Lots of people think that it doesn't provide any flavor, and I would say to you, try fresh bay leaves, because these dried buddies, so all of these spices and all of these herbs have something called a volatile oil, which is what makes all the flavor. And so the longer it sits in your pantry and the more dried out it gets, the less volatile oil you're going to have in your spices. So fresher is better, or trying to grind things on your own. Like, I have a coffee grinder that is specifically only for spices, because the fresher that you grind it, the more fragrant it's going to be. And you're releasing those oils right at the moment you need them, instead of ahead of time and evaporating into this plastic thing. And it's like, but bay leaves are also known as laurel leaves. A lot in soup situations or beans, anything that is tea-like. Like, think of bay leaves like tea. You only need 1 or 2, depending on how big the pot is. And if you use too many, it starts to taste like soap, like lanolin, like cleaning material. And I've chewed on a fresh bay leaf before, and it made my mouth sort of like buzzy and numb. So it's this like, it's not necessarily flavor. It's like also a sensation that it's adding to a dish. It's very subtle, but this is one thing that you can use to build flavor into your dishes. Another one, basic, thyme. You familiar with this? Yeah. Commonly used in a lot of French recipes, poultry especially. It goes really well with chicken and turkey. I like it, pairs really well with lemons. Really good. What else? I think of it as like a holiday kind of smell. It's very branchy, very like trees. You're like, yay, thyme. Has anyone got any thyme? Whoa, Toria, you have a bay leaf tree in the garden? Oh man. Yeah, my aunt has a bay leaf tree in Oakland, and I was very lucky to barbecue with a branch once. We grilled a big lamb rack with bay leaves under the grill, and so it was just this lovely smoke infusing everything. Moving on to another herb. This is tarragon. Tarragon is not so common in the US, I would say. Is it popular in the UK where you all are? Some of you are from the UK. Is tarragon something y'all use? But tarragon is a dried licoricey flavor. So it's not as strong as fennel, but it's actually a secret ingredient to a lot of ranch dressing recipes. So a lot of ranch dressing recipes you'll see are have chives in them, but if you want a little bit more dimension, like this like little like licoricey note, tarragon is the way to go. I kind of prefer that actually. So those are the leafy herbs that I have right now. But going to spices, where we're going in the seeds and berry category, this is wild mountain cumin. Cumin is the secret ingredient to taco flavor. Yep. Cumin and coriander are always paired together in a lot of recipes. Getting the seeds themselves is a nice little like popping texture in your mouth. Like there's this Indian condiment called chonk, I think HHONK, and it's basically ghee, which is a clarified butter, And you sizzle cumin seeds and mustard seeds in it for like a minute, and then you can drizzle that on rice or anything really. It's like a butter thing, butter infusion. But cumin, excellent for that. Sumac has gained a lot of popularity over the last couple years, especially with a lot of popular Middle Eastern recipes, Israeli, Arab. Like it's kind of amazing. Sumac goes really well with thyme. You'll see these paired together a lot because sumac is very lemony. It's bright red, and it comes from a berry. I'm like offering it to you as if you can smell it. I'm like, here, Nick, smell this. This one is from a brand called New York Shook, S-H-U-K, and they specialize in a lot of this family of herbs. You'll see sumac mixed into something called za'atar, which is another kind of spice mix. Za'atar is thyme, sumac, and sesame seeds. Okay. We'll get into more of the science of mixing herbs in a second, but sumac is a great new one. Really good on yogurt. Oh. Mm-hmm. Now getting into the whole spices, we got cloves. These are quite strong, and this is entirely too big of a bottle, I think, that I should have gotten. Like, they sell little ones because you don't need very many cloves. They're quite strong. If you're going to make any mulled wine, anything like that, you literally need 1 or 2 cloves per bottle of wine. Oh, wow. I know, they're that potent. They smell like Christmas. Christmas smell, or a lot of the warm tone spices like cinnamon, clove, star anise, and I'm thinking of another one, I can't remember it. Warm spices, everybody. What are the warm spices? Anyway, I keep trying to think like I'm gonna offer it to you. Nutmeg. Nutmeg. Thank you. Gonna catch up here in the chat. Yeah, Tarragon cream chicken. Hell yeah. Cheese with cumin seeds. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah, cumin goes really well with cheese. I mean, as we can, demonstrate from tacos and nachos. Yeah, cumin is also very important for many spice mixes like garam masala. Yes. Getting to fennel seeds from the plant, the fennel plant. This is the straight up licoricey smell. Yeah. You'll find these in everything bagel mixes. I've seen like fennel chicken anywhere that also very poultry. Yeah. Very poultry and fish. But it's not as strong as I would say clove. So you would probably use this up more often. Another seed is allspice. I use this specifically to make tasso ham. Tasso ham is something that I discovered through New Orleans and smoking meats from that area. And so allspice is in a lot of West Indian cuisine, which is very interesting. So making Jamaican beef patties or chickpeas, like really spicy chickpeas, have a little bit of allspice in them. Really lovely stuff. And they come in these pretty big seeds here, like berries. Yeah, lovely smell. I would say this is also a warm tone. And then we're getting into more of the whole fruit, whole vegetable situation, which is still considered a spice because it's like a whole piece of something. This is more in the Southeast Asian pantry. This is galangal. It is looks like a ginger, but it's slightly different. It's got more of a floral smell. It goes really well with lemongrass, which I also have here, ground lemongrass. I also have real lemongrass here in my kitchen, but I've dried it out. It's more of a decorative thing now.
My favorite Thai food restaurant is called Lemongrass.
Really? Oh, so
Fairbanks, Alaska has amazing Thai food.
Really? What would you have thought?
It is a place where at some point in like the 80s or 90s, immigrant families realized that they could just call home, get a bunch of people to show up and work in a restaurant.
Oh
So
my
they
God.
have jobs, go to the university really cheap, and then get their green cards and, emigrate to other parts of the country. And when they were, ready to move on, they call home and be like, hey, send me some more cousins. And so every couple of years there'd be a new set, and it was lovely. And then other families from those areas figured it out, and so they moved. They would send expedition restaurants
Wow.
there are probably 20 or 30 Thai restaurants in Fairbanks for a city of 40,000 people, if that. Yeah.
Wow. What a cool immigration story. I had no idea there was Thai foodways in Alaska, and I'm sure there is some interesting stuff happening now in 2021 with the local fish and just native ingredients. I'm super curious about that now. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
But no Indian restaurants. No, it's a weird place. You have all these culture clashes of just people who are just showing up in a place that should not exist.
That's so fascinating.
But yeah, I never had Indian food really until I moved to New York.
Yeah. Whoa. And I discovered this through some things that I was writing a couple years ago about the history of the Philippines, which is very Southeast Asian. A lot of our preservation techniques come from India. Boat travel and all that. And so I'm really fascinated as to why there was lots of Thai, but zero Indian, because there's definitely some cross-cultural travel. And anyway, for another stream, another day, I think.
Things that have blown my mind. Actually, today I was looking it up. There's a Philippine basketball team called the Alaska Aces.
Wait, what?
They've been around since 1986.
Wait, what?
Yeah. They've won several championships. It's because the Alaska Milk Corporation is their sponsor. Why
Filipino people are not known for basketball because we are all shorties. I'm 5'2". What?
There's a professional basketball association, and for some reason, a company became the
Alaska was sponsoring.
No. A Philippine company called the Alaska Milk Company sponsors a basketball team.
You were blowing my mind.
Google it. It's worth a Google.
That is so funny. That is so funny. Oh my God. Article waiting to happen.
Yeah. Why are these?
Why haven't I written this yet?
I really want to write a book that's just Alaska's influence on popular culture.
Yeah.
Because none of it is based on anything from Alaska. It's just what people think happens in Alaska.
Amazing.
So Bill and Ted, The Punishment, I'll send you to military school in Alaska. 10-year-old Nick lives there. That's my life. And I'm watching this movie that I love go that's a punishment. That's a bad thing.
Oh.
So it creates this really weird dichotomy. The people from within it are yeah, no, we're special. We're our own little thing. And then, the rest of the world just has these,
I'll send you to Alaska.
Alaska bush people and sketch. And there are 10 men to every woman. Yeah, the ratio was very bad for a while there.
I don't think, sorry, another off-topic thing. I don't think I talked to you about this, but my dad also worked at Air Force Base.
Oh.
Yeah, he's an engineer at Edwards, which is in California.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of rocket launches happening there now. And he just literally retired a month ago.
Very cool. My dad retired about a decade ago, and the first thing he did was get a German Shepherd and give it a job. He's I got a dog that needs a job.
That's adorable. I love it.
We'll just get bored.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to our spices. I think I'm halfway through here of all my all my spices. You are in Texas.
Yes.
You have access to good chilies.
Yes, we do.
Good chilies, dried chilies. Dried chipotle. If you're gonna, endeavor into the chili world, the way that you work with dried chilies is you reconstitute them in boiling water for about 20 minutes. Steep them like tea. You can save that liquid for broth or making stew or chili itself. But then they become all soft and you can grind them up and use them however you need to. Otherwise, you can keep them dry like this and they'll keep forever. But this is chipotle, which is very spicy. What is your spice tolerance, Nick?
Better than it was.
You're working on it.
White rice. No spice at all. So like if I'm gonna go to like a hot chicken place, you know, there's like nuclear and there's like baby food. I'm like 2 steps up from baby food.
Okay.
I'm not quite in the middle to like, you know, burning your face off. I view it like if it, I don't like it when it burns. Like if it's numbing and overpowering and it's just, you know, I have no desire to eat
hurt
stuff
yourself
like that. But when I, you know, oh, here, Nick, here's a spicy chicken sandwich. I'm like, oh, here's a thing I like that's just a little hotter than normal. Hot honey, I'll throw into things from time to time.
Luckily, there are just so many different kinds of chili peppers that there are some really nice mild ones that just, you know, enhance flavor or layers in every rice and bean and stew dish. Or pozole. Pozole is one of my favorite soups.
Locally green hatch chilies.
Yes, that's what you have. Yeah, the hatch roast.
They'll make cookies out of them. HEB is amazing. It's like the best grocery store ever. And yeah, every year they make like a Oreo sandwich cookie, but it's a green hatch chili frosting. And
we got some good advice here from Toria. Spice is a build it up thing. Agreed. Over time, if you go a little spicier, eventually you can eat really spicy. You don't need to, just enjoy what you enjoy. And I heartily agree with that. I believe my tolerance has gotten worse since the pandemic started, because when I was out and about in the world, I was a judge for the hot sauce expo that happens here in Brooklyn. And so I had to be able to handle 12 Carolina Reaper spoonfuls. I couldn't really handle the X pepper category. My mouth is watering thinking about it, like ouch, pain. But yeah, keeping dried peppers in your pantry is a lovely thing, especially with Thai peppers too. You only need like one if you're gonna be making like pho or even pickling with them. Throwing one little one in a pickle jar is great.
Nice.
But yes. Okay, now we're getting to the more complicated stuff. Oh, actually, no, there's a couple more. There's one more here. Omani lime. This is like a black lime. This is also from like Middle East area. Really good on yogurt, really good on poultry. It's basically limes that have been dried and preserved for a long time and then ground up. So they're just called black limes. Or this one says lemon, but in parentheses, lime. It's really funny. It's very confusing. Yeah. I got this from Oaktown Spice Shop in California. It's a great little spot. Okay, so getting to spice mixes. There's a lot that you can just buy, which is great. So garam masalas is one of them. So I have a garam masala that's already made. It's for lots of Indian dishes. You can also buy like Thai green curry. So there's different kinds of curry across Asia. And so green is another one. This one has some of that galangal and the lemongrass that I showed you earlier, but this is from a place called the All Spicery in Sacramento, California. I like to support smaller spice shops by buying the stuff that no one else is making. So like this is very unique to that shop. You saw that I have a lemon pepper. This is a grocery, you know. I was developing wing recipes with this for another cookbook. So the stuff, like some of these, you make sure you're reading the ingredients on some of these because they might have some secret gluten.
I should double check it.
In the preservatives. So okay. This lemon pepper brand is getting really clumpy. That makes me really uncomfortable when things get really clumpy because that means there's some moisture in there. And yeah, just gotta read the ingredients on some spice mixes. Dukkha is one of my favorite things that I've been playing with lately. This is Dukkah, Dukkha. This is also from the All Spicery in Sacramento, but you can make this yourself. It is basically an Egyptian nut and spice mix. Are you allergic to any nuts?
Nope.
Oh, good. But yeah, this is pistachio, hazelnut, coriander, and it's so good on yogurt with some honey or just toast with butter. It's like a nice, it's not just a spice mix, you know, it's got the nuts in it. So everything is like a little bit more crunchy. So it's a really fun thing to finish things with. Not so much that you mix it into something because you want to get the crunchies. So it's like a finisher.
Yeah, a good topper.
I'm a huge fan of crunchy, crispy toppings. And okay, so there are a few new spice mixes that I was like working with and learning about. So Advia is one, Advieh. And this one, I believe, oh my gosh, someone correct me if you know the real answer. I think it's Pakistani, but it's a lot of the warm spices like cardamom, cinnamon, and rose petals.
Ooh.
So it's very like romantic. It's very like, oh, hi. And that has only a few applications so far that I've seen. Like also lots of chicken application here, lots of chicken, lots of yogurt. I loved it in chocolate. I make a chocolate bark every now and then sprinkling that on top with some flaky sea salt was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is where is this from? Ethiopia, Berbera. It's a Berbere. This Ethiopian blend of spices, a dry rub for meats or roasted vegetables. Also makes great sauces and spicy lentils. Ooh. For a paste, mix this equal parts spice to red wine. So this is a hand-mixed thing of a little bit of red chili pepper, garlic, ginger, salt, a few things that I don't know, korema, ajwain, nigella seeds, coriander, cloves, cinnamon, besobella, fenugreek, thyme, and rosemary. That's a lot of herbs, but this is an Ethiopian spice mix that I found to be really fun. A lot of bean recipes with this one. And then this one I got from the New York Times, this recipe is called Baharat. It's North African. Also tons of cardamom in this one, but paprika, sesame seeds. I believe, yeah, there's a New York Times stew recipe with it. And it's also, it falls into this warm category of like, not quite holiday, but cozy feeling.
Winter.
Yeah, wintry. And then the last thing I have here is more of a concept than a defined spice mix. Ras El Hanu. It's three words, Ras El Hanu. A blend truly fit for a king. Head of the shop is what it translates to. It's basically at bazaars, every shop will have their own version of this, and it's basically the best stuff we have.
Okay.
So it can be up to 20 different spices in here. This one is paprika, cumin, ginger, Ceylon, like the tea, Ceylon, cinnamon, cassia, which is related to cinnamon. Cassia is a different class of a bark. Turmeric, grains of paradise. Oh, those are pretty. Those are that's an African sort of peppercorn that is like really perfumey. Allspice, nutmeg, mace. I don't really see a lot of people using mace these days. Cayenne and other spices, I guess. But this is a fun concept of what do I have left over in my pantry that will go together and blend it all up. And I think it sort of teaches us that lots of stuff goes together. Like it really does. You just got to be really careful about clashing or overpowering. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like we said that the cloves earlier are super, super powerful. So you wouldn't use like a tablespoon of this, you know, when you're mixing things. But yeah, it kind of goes, I like to play this game of, oh, I love everything bagels. how do you make your own everything bagel mix? And so
Yeah.
that's poppy seeds, dried onion, dried garlic, all that. And then how do I change everything bagel mix? Like how can I slant it a different way but still use it as a bagel topping or a sprinkle or something like that? And you know what? Another secret hack that I have is crushed up chips. I just get a handful of chips and just
so that reminds me of when I worked at Fox in Midtown. There was a woman who rented a Mr. Softy truck.
Okay.
But she went by Mrs. Softy and made her own custom. So basically, like the Mr. Softy thing was just the base ingredients that she had to use, and then she did like chocolate covered, ice cream cones with crushed up chips or pretzels, or she tried to put cool spins on Mr. Softy's stuff. But she was also cute, so like everybody in my office would like fight over like, oh, who wants to go get Mr. like who wants to go grab the ice cream for the office today?
Lord.
On our corner,
oh my gosh.
Very popular.
Come on.
It was delicious as well.
Well, I hadn't heard of that, so that's so funny.
It was so long ago, and I hope she's doing really well.
I hope she's doing well too. Oh, okay. So another thing, I'm sure you have cookbooks in your house, right?
A couple, yeah.
You have a couple cookbooks. Well, a lot of them will have a pantry section. So mine, if everybody, if you're in the chat and you have my cookbook, mine is on page 178. And so authors, it's part of the style guide of putting together a cookbook. We have to put in this pantry section of stuff that is not common to every kitchen. And so you'll see a lot of explainers of what makes up the pantry you need to use this book. So mine has like bonito flakes, cotija cheese, gochujang, hoja santa. Hoja santa is another herb. It's actually pretty prominent where you are. It is kind of like a Latin American mint, and it comes in these nice big flat leaves. It's lovely. But I have a whole list of peppers because I use a lot of chili peppers in my cooking. So ancho, bird's eye or small Thai, chile de árbol, guajillo, jalapeno, Jamaica, piquillo, and poblano. So many different kinds. So my book has that. And then my friend Chitra, who has an Indian cookbook, also has this section here where she explains the South Indian pantry, which is particularly vegetarian. So she has asafoetida, which is something I have here, hing powder. This is, if you're gonna get into Indian food, you only use a pinch of this stuff. I'm sorry, it's very reflective. You only use a pinch of that stuff per batch of a recipe. So it goes a long way. So that little envelope, it's gonna last me months. Black mustard seeds, black pepper, of course, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, coriander, cumin, fenugreek. It's not something I use very often. Saffron, turmeric, and lots of other chilies. But yeah, if you just go to your cookbooks that you have already, I'm sure there's sections on like the lesser known ingredients, and that'll help you figure it out. And I don't know, is there like an area of food that you want to get into?
No.
Or like
something
you've always wanted to make?
Oh God, what have I always wanted to make? Ice cream. No.
Ice cream.
Actually, I have tried to make candy before. Yeah.
Herby candy would be really cool.
It'd be worth a shot. I'm just not good at it. Like,
because
it's so tough. Like, you see, I watch enough like how it's made and those sorts of shows on the Discovery Channel that I'm like, oh, I should try to make gummies or hard candy or whatever. And it's really easy to turn gummies into hard candy, but it's not easy to go the other way. I made a lot of Jolly Ranchers by accident.
Ooh, still. And then you could turn those into simple syrup if you don't want to eat it all.
I should have done that instead of just getting rid of them.
Oh my gosh.
We just got composting in our neighborhood this week, and I'm very excited about it.
Text me next time you have a problem in the kitchen.
I know.
But let me see here. Okay, so we talked about the cookbooks. There are 2 companies that are sourcing herbs ethically. Unfortunately, like all food that we eat conveniently in the world has some labor issues tied into it, and a lot of ethical issues. But there are 2 companies that I like to support besides the the small spice shops. There's one called Diaspora Co. It is an Indian-owned company based in Oakland, California, and they do turmeric mostly, but I think they're expanding to other herbs soon. Spices, I mean, correcting myself. And then there's Burlap and Barrel, which is another place. They have a really wide selection. That's actually where I got my cumin, my wild mountain cumin. They may be on the pricier side of things, but they have a lot of really cool stuff that like I don't really know about myself. Yes, Jessica has an endorsement here for Diaspora's cardamom. It's chef kiss. We got some advice here from Justice. Yes, be careful when you open a hing container that you do not accidentally cause a hing cloud to permanently scent your kitchen. Aw, I'm sorry that you've hinged yourself.
Shannon tried to make, we were having a party and a lot of our friends in Austin are vegan. Mm-hmm. And so we tried to make stuff that everyone could have something of. So she tried to turn jackfruit into tacos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, using our friend's cookbook. So it was going to be at the party. So he written a vegan cookbook. So she was like following instructions, but she made a batch that was so big that when she dumped in the cumin mixture thing, it smoked out the house. The entire people fled from inside because they were choking on cumin.
I've made a couple mistakes. When you activate mustard seeds, like when mustard seeds come in contact with any liquid, you need to stay away from it, or cook it or microwave it or something, because you make mustard gas, basically. So if you're making your own pickle mix or your own mustard, be very careful. Make sure you're introducing heat and covering things and stepping away when you open the jar. Because I've gassed myself before and it was very unpleasant. Well, did that help you? Was that very helpful? No, I'm excited to see. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to see what you cook. And always, please ask me again. But I think it's time for us to get to our last segment of the show, which is where we pretend we are on the show Chopped. So let me explain to folks who are new here. We're going to pretend that we're on this TV show, but if you've never seen it, there's a basket with 4 mystery ingredients in it, and chefs have to use it to make a dish. So in our case, you, the chat, will tell us what's in the basket. So please shout out an ingredient for us to put in there. The first 4 will be the ones that we use. This is very exciting. There are no wrong answers. The purpose of the exercise is to think about how far ingredients can go and maybe inspire some of our next meals. I'll go through each of the ingredients individually, just so that we all know what we're working with. But I mean, as soon as you get an idea, just tell us how you would combine 2, 3, or all 4 of the ingredients. No pressure whatsoever. Imagine that you have a basic pantry and all the tools and time that you need. So like on the show, they have 30 minutes to create a dish, but pretend in our imaginary world, we have all the time in the world. So you could make cheese from an animal or something, or you could, but the point is to feature and combine the things in the basket. So if you have some suggestions for what we should put in the basket, please put it in the chat right now. Nick, do you watch Chopped, or do you know of it?
I'm familiar that it exists.
Yeah, sure.
Culturally. That's about it. Most of my TV these days are either Twitch shows or Moonshiners. Because
Moonshiners is so chaotic.
It's great.
So chaotic.
It's so weird and backwoods, and I know they probably have political beliefs that I don't like, but they also run from the law.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like this old man going into the woods and taking 3 lefts and 2 rights, and then like he got to his secret still in the woods that might get rained on.
Yeah. Oh, ruin your corn mash. You need some cherry bounce in you. I don't like the moonshine. Like, I can't stand it. But do I think I could moonshine?
Probably.
Probably. Now, Gold Rush, I don't think I could gold mine.
Just panning all day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Panning would be the easy part. I have friends who pan, but if anybody wants to put mousse in as a secret ingredient, I can, that's my time to shine. We got liver.
No, okay, let's do mousse and liver. Okay. We need like maybe 2 other ingredient suggestions in the chat. Liver, very interesting. Mousse, tell me how you've prepared mousse before.
Well, first you have to go in the woods and get one.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, it is a wild game, so you can't actually buy it in the store in Alaska or wherever you are. You just have to, my dad and I would go out and hunt moose when I was a kid. I literally shot a moose and then went to 7th grade the next
my God. Like, so how early do you go hunting?
Like time of day or just like our age?
No, time of day.
It's the month of September. So we woke up, like we went out there, August 31st, and then woke up at like 5 a.m. on September 1st, went out and hunted for, in my case, it was like a half hour because we only had 2 or 3 hours before we had to leave so I could get back to school. And then one just showed up. We shot it.
Oh my God.
It's weird, yeah. And then we would go home, and we'd turn our garage into a butcher shop every year.
Awesome.
And my parents were the ones with the knives, and they just hack off chunks and they'd give it to me and my sisters, and they'd say, okay, this is hamburger, this is steak, hamburger, steak. We'd freeze everything, and then one moose could feed a family of 5 for about a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so anything we
have.
So
much moose. That is so much moose.
Anywhere where you'd have beef, we just had moose, with the exception of hamburgers.
Interesting.
Okay.
So we've got, let's see, we're going to do some moose. We got liver, apples, wild mushrooms. Oh, and you know what? Why don't we do 5 ingredients? The wheat berry is very.
We can take out the moose.
You just told us all about it. Oh, okay. Okay, let's do liver, apples, mushrooms, and the wheat berry. Thank you all for contributing some ingredients. So if you have ideas about how to combine 2, 3, or all 4, please just sound off in the chat. Just go wild. First thought, best thought. But I'll just go through these individually. Nick, do you like liver? Have you had it?
I've probably had it as like a prepared thing, like pate or
like a pate. Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about the familiarity I had with it growing up. So liver can take many forms. It can be in a pate. It can be in sauce. This is a Filipino sauce called Mang Tomas. So it's a sauteed liver with brown sugar and breadcrumbs to make it all thick. But it's usually an accompaniment to fried pork dishes. And it's quite delicious. It doesn't look very appetizing, but I mean, I come from a culture that doesn't waste anything. And so we have a lot of, liver applications. And so, yes, you can do fried chicken livers, right, Robert? They can be very smooth if you cook them down. They marry really well with alcohols. So like you'll see some pate recipes with brandy or Calvados or wines. They do taste minerally. So the way that you typically prepare them is to soak them in milk or heavy cream for 20 minutes to get some of that metallic taste out. And then you can just saute them as normal, blend them up if you want to, but they can be enjoyed quite simply. Let's see, what else about liver? I don't know, just lots of pates and pastes and sauces in my childhood. Or skewers at a Japanese restaurant.
Yep.
apples, I feel like we've covered apples a lot in this stream, but the palm of the tree, it's quite versatile. They can be eaten raw, they can be cooked, they can be baked, they can be roasted, they can be grilled. They have that skin on the outside. Let's see, what about apples? You can make it into a sauce, you can make it into an alcohol, you can do ciders, you can do Calvados. I mentioned that already.
Apple brandy.
Apple brandy, yes.
I know from the Moonshiners.
Yeah. What other kind of apple things can you do? You can dry them, which is quite lovely. Apple. Anyway, they go really well with warm spices if you want to go in that direction. What else? Oh, apples and Asian pears are used in Korean marinades.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of where they get some of the sweetness.
Okay.
Or you can make apple butter. Yes, Robert. Totally right.
Definitely.
Wild mushrooms from Guam here. Wild mushrooms are lovely. They can be grilled. They can be chopped up real fine to make a duxelle, which is a mushroom paste. Mushrooms can also be made into a pate of its own, category, which is really, really delicious. I honestly just love sauteing them and then deglazing the pan with some white wine. Like I don't do much to it.
Yeah, I think my mom has a morel. She loved hunting morel mushrooms.
Oh wow, you had access to morels up there?
No, not in Alaska, in Michigan.
Michigan.
So where she was from, like her and her mom and her brother, that's a pastime of theirs that I just
Whoa, that's so exciting. Yeah. I've only gone foraging once.
So they would find morel mushrooms, and I think they would toss them in a little flour and saute them, and yeah, probably I think they also deglazed them, but that was about it.
Yeah, wild mushrooms are pretty delicious. It depends on what variety we're working with here, because some of them have a little bit of a medicinal taste, like a lion's mane mushroom. It looks like a tribble. It's like a white puffball. That has a texture of lobster when you cook it down, but you need to cook it thoroughly, because if you undercook lion's mane, it tastes like medicine. Like you don't want that. And then wheat berries. I might have some here next to me somewhere in my Etsy shop. I have rye berries, which are very close, but they act just like rice. They're a little bit more of a toothsome texture. Like, so rice will smoosh if you put it between your fingers, but wheat berries fully cooked are a little bit more solid. Like they kind of have like a barley bite. Like they have more of an outer shell, but they smell extra toasty and lovely when you cook them. So they can function like rice. You can grind these up to make a flour. How else can you can make like a risotto, but it's not going to be as sticky because it doesn't have as much gluten in it. And yeah, breads, all sorts of things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's true. There is a health limit about how much liver Joy can eat a week. Yeah, that's great. Apple butter. Apple brandy seems like it would pair well with fried liver on a wheat berry and wild mushroom risotto for an easy answer. Yes, I think so. Yes, you can use it in stews for sure. Like you could do, instead of a mushroom and barley, we could do a mushroom and wheat berry stew with some like, ooh, maybe if we ground up the apple and used it in the broth. Oh, that'd be kind of nice. So another fun way to like attack this mental exercise is to think of something you already know how to make.
Yeah.
And then switch in one or two in the ingredients. So for you, if we were doing the Cherry Kuchen.
I was about to say, it's going to be the Kuchen.
What if we did an apple cake like that and used a wheat berry flour to make the cake? That might be a little denser, but still
or even if you did like the regular cake base but like a wheat berry, like if you did a little batch for the top island things,
Yeah, like a
because it would come out a
crumble.
little denser, and they would, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Ooh. I wonder if you could do like a wheat berry granola type thing, like a toasty snack, or maybe you can puff them. I don't know how to
Yeah,
do
I bet you if you puffed them with dehydrated apples.
that. Snack time. That's a good snack. I think that sounds great. And now, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of your casserole pan with the cherry in it, and I'm thinking like, how could we make a savory casserole with all the things that we're doing here?
Hmm?
So we could do like a mushroom wheat berry situation. And then, I mean, just chopping the apples normally sounds fine. I would do like how would I do the livers? Maybe, maybe a saucy thing? I don't know. Try to think. I don't have to force it in there. But I'm thinking casseroles, like a baked thing.
Yep.
Or I've had a mushroom souffle before. Souffles are usually sweet, but I had a savory one that was really nice. I'm okay. How about we do like a Japanese dinner? We could do liver yakitori skewers with like an apple glaze and then grilled wild mushrooms. I'm thinking, the hen of the woods, like the really scraggly looking ones. And then like wheat berry rice balls.
Yeah.
With like the seaweed on the outside. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, or even like a spicy apple glaze.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
where did I have it? I had a apple chili burger at some point
Oh,
in
yeah.
Anchorage once.
Apple
What?
chili?
It was like a spicy apple jam.
Yes,
It was like
spicy
an
apple
apple.
jam. What if we did like a veggie burger that had the mushroom and the wheat berry in it and did the spicy apple jam on it?
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Yeah, I can make that vegan.
We've
These
been
are
eating a lot
all...
of Impossible Burger actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I'll one of my go-to dishes is Mocha Loco.
Oh, I love that dish.
Great.
Can you explain it to people who might not know what that is?
Mocha Loco is a Hawaiian dish. As I mean, heavy caveats. Look at me. That like surfers would eat because it very heavy, but
It's
you
high
would
in
go
protein.
surfing. But it's rice with a beef patty on it, covered in gravy with a fried egg on top.
It's so good. It's
It's
so good.
it's so delicious, and the whole thing, you end up just stirring the whole thing together.
Yeah, and you feel real sleepy because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any surfing work or
Oh
physical
yeah.
activity, and I just ate the loco moco and just like,
Yeah, we
you know,
have watched Search Party. Like that's our activity.
follow it up with some shaved ice.
It's we had it a couple times when we got to go to Hawaii a couple years ago and came back and yeah, a gluten-free just package of gravy and Impossible Burger works out really well.
Yeah, it's definitely a nap dish, right, Martin? Nap dish.
Love it.
All right, friends in the chat, how would you mash up liver, apples, wild mushrooms, and wheat berries? I'm trying to think, like, how could you make a dessert? Like, what if we did an apple wheat berry tart or like a pie? Or what if we did like a savory hand pie with the mushrooms and liver sauce together with some brandy? Like a home run pie, like a handheld one? Wheat berry. What else could you do? I'm a fan of doing like summer salads with wheat berries or rye berries. I tend to put like more berries. I do like dried cherry and oregano with it. So I'm wondering like, how can we go in that direction? So like wheat berry, chopped apples, some roasted mushrooms. That sounds good, but leaving out the liver.
Yeah.
Keep leaving out the liver. I think it's because I don't have a lot of familiarity with the versatility of liver. I'm sure there's like so many other ways that you can make it, but I'm only thinking like deep frying, skewering, saucing it, and
even a
that's it.
salad with wheat berry, mushrooms and cherries and stuff, and fried chicken livers.
Yeah, salad. That's great. Yeah, savory pie, Gwen. I'm a fan of a savory pie. Yes, these are all good ideas. Last call for ideas, my friends. We're nearing the end of the pantry here. How would you combine liver, apples, wild mushrooms, and wheat berries? And if you have any questions about the ingredients, please ask away in the chat. This has been really, really fun, Nick. Thank you for doing this.
I'm super glad to help. I have nothing to do all day, every day. I sit on Twitter, and whenever people tweet a lot, it feels like I have, and I know I don't have a friend like with most people. Oh, we got one. I don't need to get my stuff. Pandemic has ruined me. Wheat berry too with queso. Oh, well.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, this is from Not Vegan. Wheat berry stew with queso fresco. Hell yeah. Served with sauteed chicken livers, apples, and mushrooms in the same pan, like a skillet. Yeah. Robert, it is a tough combo. Yeah. I mean, I would try it. Yeah.
I don't think you get it right on the first shot, but I think number 2 or 3, and
yeah,
be able to like maybe a little less liver.
I mean, it's challenging us with the liver. Like I'm open to it. I just don't know everything you can do with it. Yeah. So what if we did like chicken fried livers? So like we make them KFC style, and we just have like a fried basket of the deep fried mushroom, the deep fried liver.
Or you could probably use the wheat berries as like the
as the batter, or as the dredge. Yeah, totally.
Or even as kind of breadcrumby.
We can also dehydrate the mushrooms and make a savory powder and flavor things that way. So we could do a mushroom flavored chicken liver situation, or we can make like a sort of a miso soup with the mushroom base, and then put in some of those wheat berries and floaties of I'm just trying to think through this.
You could almost do so I started doing a thing a while ago that we just called Japanese breakfast, but it's I think its actual name is tamago kakegoen. I'm probably messing that up. But it's basically just rice, but you mix an egg into it. You whip an egg into the rice, so it's kind of like a risotto-ish. But then you can basically add any protein, so pickled ginger and salmon, sesame seeds or whatever. And I think you could do parts of this.
Oh, with the wheat berries, yeah. Yum. Always add an egg. You can always add an egg to these dishes. Put an egg on it. Speaking of which, can we get more eggs in the chat? We're wrapping up here for the day. And if anyone has any final ideas, we would love to hear it. But, if this is something that you're thinking about all week and you think of something tomorrow or like on Saturday, you can always tweet it to me. I will be happily entertained by your ideas. Yay! Thank you for all the eggs, Toria. Woo! So many eggs, and thanks all for rating the channel and joining me today. I know it was a long day of Twitch streaming, starting with Gwem and then going to Alex and coming over here. So I appreciate all of you who are staying up late where you are to hang out. These are lovely eggs in the chat. I'm so happy with how they turned out.
Slaw.
All right, well, why don't we just wrap it up today? Okay. Nick, how can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter. I have like 500 followers, and it's mostly just me screaming into the void, but it's just Nick R. Brewer.
I'll put it in the chat for you here. Twitter.com/moop.
Yeah. That or...
Oh, I have a website here that I have in my document.
Oh, yeah. We have Moon Tower Labs. So Moon Tower is, we're not quite sure what we're doing with it yet, but it's basically, my wife is a graphic designer, artist. She made all this stuff.
Yeah, that's why it's so bright behind you.
Yeah, she made that, she sews, like that's a March wig, you know, all cool stuff. And so we'll take her artistic stuff and my, I do a lot of digital fabrication, so 3D printing, CNC milling, laser cutting, all that sort of stuff. So she designed Ice Cream Dude, and then I cut him out of wood. She painted him, and then behind him, you can't really see now, but there are lights behind it. And
it's so cute.
So, you know, it's a fun little ice cream cone thing. But
yeah, y'all are a fabrication duo.
Yeah, whenever it came to like, oh, should we get nice dishes or a laser cutter? We always
laser cutter. Duh.
Yeah. Now I've made half the furniture in my house.
That's really cool. So if y'all want to check out Nick's work, you can go over to moontowerlabs.com there. And we are both hanging out on Twitter all the time. So I put his handle there. For me, you can check out all the links below the video here for my Etsy, a Venmo if you want to send a tip, my podcast Fun City, which is usually a Shadowrun podcast, but we're currently playing a mini series called Still Fleet. It's based in the future, and I play a lizard named Marcus. But next week, which is really exciting, my guest for next Wednesday at 5 p.m., Sean Ludwig from The Smoke Sheet. He is a barbecue expert. He curates this newsletter of barbecue news all over the country here. And we've been really good friends and bonding over smoked meats. So that'll be a really, really fun session next week. It's going to be all barbecue, all smoke and wood and fire. So that's what's happening next week. If y'all have any other cooking questions, please hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. I'm here to help you. And thank you again to Nick for being here and supporting the stream. Oh, I'm so happy to bring you into the fold. Yay!
No, I'm glad I've been daring people to just invite me on their podcasts.
Dare accepted.
I should probably stop calling people cowards, but
oh my gosh. Well, thank you everybody, and thanks for playing with the new emotes we have in the chat. I'm going to end the stream in just a second. But thank you all. We'll see you next week, and see you later.